Yo, what's good? It's Fire here, back from the video, and today we're going to be bringing you guys a coverage defense in Madden 24. If you didn't see my last video, it was a blitz, so make sure you check that out. You can actually kind of combine the two schemes. You will see how once we hop into the video, but yeah, bringing you guys a coverage defense now just to mix things up. Out of this nickel 3-3, we will be dropping, again, a lot of other stuff. We have Go Dollar, some other stuff, so we have a lot of videos lined up. But without further ado, let's jump straight into it. We're going to be running the Cover 4 Show 2 out of the Nickel 3-3 Cub. Cover 4 is one of my favorite defenses to start the year off because players are very slow and it is confusing and difficult, especially for new players, to beat with slower and worse cards. So if you can put together the right mix, you don't want to overuse it, you can definitely confuse some good players. So that's what we're going to do. First thing you're going to do is make sure that you have match turned on right here in your coaching adjustments. We are in the 4-6 defensive playbook, by the way. That's really all you have to do. Now, out of 3-3 Cub, make sure you try and probably put a safety at that linebacker position, get some more speed on your field. I'm going to set up a few audibles here. And let's hop into something like a deep corner. So that's pretty much it. Now, match is definitely interesting. It depends formation to formation, who you user, what players are going to be most important. Starting out against Bunch, I am in the Jets playbook here, so we will switch between a lot of these really good formations. Let me know if you guys want to see an ebook on the Jets, because it seems to be a popular offense just because you can switch between so many formations. But out of Bunch, what I like to do typically is user this guy because he doesn't really have too much of a responsibility unless there's going to be a deep post between either this X wide receiver or this B wide receiver. Like in this case, I think, have to pick up on Calvin Ridley. We just snap the ball normal, and he is going to be my responsibility. Now you see also we have Stephon Gilmore falling over, so we don't necessarily actually need to. And that's what it depends, thing to thing. If we were baseline pressed, this would be a situation where I probably have to take over because he's coming all the way from that side to where if you throw it, it's a little bit of a tougher thing. Now, this is not going to be a blitz, so you're going to get your normal pressure that you would in the 4-man rush. We will be setting 3-man rushes, and we will definitely mix it up as far as those looks go. If you want to try and disguise as a blitz, you want to probably spread these guys out a little bit and just try and hover on the line. This is going to make your opponent hopefully think that you're setting some kind of a pressure. Maybe he's going to block his running back, makes defense a little bit easier on you. Other than this, I do like to be probably man-aligned or just man-pressed. It is weird. If you're defending against a corner route, typically being baseline pressed is going to be a little bit better looking like this. So if we're trying to throw it to Christian Kirk over here, it's going to be a little bit better being like that. Now, having that deep post definitely does help you. And like I'm saying, just weird stuff happens. So if he throws a streak out, I want you to take a look at how open the streak is going to be against regular cover 4. And it does get some really good separation because that corner is so far outside. He's the one who takes that matching responsibility. Now, there's a couple of things you can do to kind of take this away, and that's what I will be showing you here. My first adjustment that I like to go to is with a little cloud flat and a quarter flat. So this is what we're going to do. Now this is going to open up different things. It's going to open up something like a corner route. So if we run it like this, B isn't going to be open, but you can potentially fit this over the top. Now it's a really difficult throw, but you can. So this is where zone drops come into play. What I like to do is set this cloud flat to about 25 yards, and that's really going to take away it. So you set this cloud flat to 25 yards. It's going to take away most of the things. This quarter flat is going to play slow, but if you go with like a play where it's a zig, something like this, you have a zig, you have a corner route, and you have a streak. What's going to happen here is your quarter flat should jump on the zig. I guess it's actually not, but if there's no flat route, the quarter flat, I guess, will take over. So this is where you can man people up as well. If you just want to turn one side into a cover 2, you definitely can. Now you can also do this on the flip side. You can also do this over here. So if we want to, we can just throw the short side over here on a little cloud flat. So I would not be opposed to this. Another thing you can do is also use the quarter flat over here. So now this guy can roam and make plays in the middle of the field, and I can just take care of him over here usering him and taking care of these short routes. You see nothing really open in this scenario. So just a couple of things you can mix through. Cover 4 is not something you want to run every single down. Let me keep that clear. You want to mix between cover 4, man coverage, a normal cover 2, things of that nature, and then of course mix in pressure, because if you just run cover 4 every play, your opponent should be able to figure out a couple of things to get that, beat that. He should be able to. There's cover 4 beaters in the game. Not many people will know about them because you don't see cover 4 all that often, but they are out there and they are things you will face. Now, some other things that you can do in match coverage is go to a complete man coverage setup, which is something that I will typically do. Now, you see how this guy is already in zone coverage, so we can just throw him in man coverage, and this will definitely allow you to just run that cover 4 on one side of the field, and you're going to worry about any crossing out from right to left. So if they run just their normal play, boom, everybody's manned up, and you see I would be able to help out on any route, really, either from left to right or right to left. So this is something that I will typically do against bunch. Now, let's say that you go to a different formation. Let's go with a trips tight end offset. So out of this formation, you have a couple of things to worry about. Trips is one of those formations where I will never, ever use the safety typically. You probably want to be base aligned as well. And then typically I would be flipped. So I would have the corner on the right side. I would probably base align and press. So this is what you're going to have against trips. Trips is difficult. You can't really afford to use this guy because if they just throw the tight end on the streak, you're going to be cooked. So I just cannot do that. Typically what I will do is either user him. You can use the quarter flat out here because you're really not going to have too much to worry about unless the running back is going to be on a little baby flat route. So I'm fine using this quarter flat. Everybody's going to be matched. You want to watch deep, but you see how everybody's going to be matched pretty simple. And this is why I enjoy it. Now, another thing you do is that cover 2 adjustment, which will definitely help out against trips. So taking a look here, we have our safety. He's going to play the drag. We have, obviously, our outside corner is going to play him. Our safety is going to play Christian Kirk. And then the crosser is going to be taken care of by the 3 receiver hook as well as Stephon Gilmore back there. So that is going to be just normal. Now, let's say he's picking up, he's doing something to free up one of those guys, the crossers, they end up getting open. Now, one of the other adjustments, again, I'm going to flip, I'm going to baseline press. This is where this adjustment can definitely help out. Just throwing a little quad flat out there, I don't have to worry about anything on the right side. Maybe I can use their Van Der Esch over here, and this really frees me up to do a lot of things that can help out. There's nowhere to go with the football at all. Everybody is clearly bagged, and this is why the cover 2 adjustment typically is going to be a little bit better against trips. Other formations, let's go to something else. Let's go to a bunch tight end look. I'll run a couple of plays out of here. It's going to be really the same thing. So we're going to flip. We're going to probably baseline press. You wouldn't necessarily have to be base aligned against a bunch tight end look, but again, I like to go with this because everybody should be matched on against the crossing routes. Again, you can use your Van Der Esch here. If you want to send that 4th guy, you can definitely use your Donovan Wilson over here. Everybody's going to be bagged. You're going to help out on the crosser, and you see nobody's really going to be open. You also notice the drag's going to be taken care of on the backside, so everybody's going to be open. Now you might be asking yourself, what if we throw him on a little out route, something like this, or we streak A, throw ETN on the opposite side. What's going to happen again? We're going to go same look. We're going to flip. I'm going to go baseline press here. We're going to go ahead and snap the ball here. And you see, once again, it doesn't really make a difference. Everybody is still going to be covered. The streak's taken care of. You have the deep half that should be able to make the play. And then again, with my user, I'm helping out on the crosser or a slant or something that's going to beat man coverage. But you see, we have our quarter flat over here. This is why you don't maybe want to use the quarter flats, because he's helping out over there. Again, Kirk, he's bagged. This guy, if we don't have the deep half, this guy's going to probably match on him anyway, so it helps out. And then if they throw ETN on a potential wheel route, we have our cloud flat over here. You can zone drop that, and he can also help on the deep crossers to where you could actually use her underneath. But this is probably my favorite setup with that cloud flat. You could go soft squat as well. If you're not zone dropped, then he can be a little bit more aggressive. So with the soft squat, typically they play aggressive style of zone. You go soft squat here, A here, and we'll just see how it plays against normal. He's going to jump a lot of routes, but he also leaves openings more than a cloud flat. So I'm probably zone adjusting it with my zone drops, but you could really get glitchy with that soft squat. So really, let's go to a corner route on the opposite side with this triple out play on the short side. So something like this, we're going to flip our play once again. We're going to press. And what would we do here? I'm probably going to go baseline press. Again, if I'm expecting crosser, I'm going to be going to the same adjustment. You're not going to really know. So you're going to be kind of around here. And everybody should be taken care of. B is going to be a little bit of space, but that's why we have the wheel route over there. Wheel route might have been open, but it's not going to. Tight end's taken care of. The fly route's taken care of with our 3 receiver hook. So everybody's bagged. Again, with my user, I would be running up here trying to help out. Now, it is kind of a little weird rub route, so maybe baseline press is not going to be the best thing anyways. But all in all, everything is really taken care of. Now let's go to tight offset tight end. Tight offset tight end. We're going to flip our play again. We're going to press. And again, I'm always going to be bluffing the blitz. So he might block his running backs. It's going to look like a blitz. If he doesn't really know the game well, he might not notice that you're in cover 4, especially if you're switching between your defenses, which is, again, what you want to do. But in this case, it's tougher to choose which side you're going to cloud flat. You might want to just go to this side where the wide receivers are, but you could go running back side as well, maybe at baseline. It's really a guessing game, honestly, but wide side, you're probably fine. So you're running like this, help out, boom. I'm taking that guy with my user, but you can see how you might want to man people up. Typically, the tight end is a good guy to man up with these players with 3 rec hook. But that's why you got to be paying attention with your user. So if you want to send him, then we definitely can. Let's go. Let's flip. Let's press. And let's not baseline press and see how that changes things. Now you see how A is taken care of. If you keep that, if you don't go cover 2, so you don't have to go cover 2, and it should maybe help if you flip it. But you know, sometimes over adjusting will create those problems. Like the tight end, he's covered, but we could use an unnecessary adjustment, and then he's wide open. But that's pretty much going to do it. Again, some things with, I'll actually show one more trips concept that I like. So trips, one other thing I like, we're going to flip, we're going to press. One thing that you can do, this is tight. Trips is backwards, I think. Yeah, so we're going to go to trips. One thing I like to do in trips as well is go back to that man coverage. Again, we have 2 people here that we can use. So we're going to man up him on the faster guy. We're going to man up him. This guy should be a safety as well. So if he's a safety, you can flip it. But in this case, I am perfectly comfortable with using Curse. You have Van Der Esch that you can also man up on one of these guys. I can man up on the crosser, but I can now user him. And I feel comfortable. The only problem that you could get is with motion. So I'm able to help out here, and that is going to be really, really good coverage. So that's an adjustment that I love against trips. Tight becomes more difficult, but trips, cover 4 is really, really good at, in my opinion. Again, bunch, it's a guessing game, but it should be able to work, especially if he's not expecting it. Trips is where I will really run a heavy cover 4 defense. Against bunch, I'm mixing it in. Against tight, I'm mixing it in because there are pretty heavy beaters with the corner routes. With trips, you don't really have to worry about corner routes. You're more focused on crossers. So if he's a crosser-based offense, this is a really good defense for that. If you guys enjoyed, subscribe to the channel down below, hit that thumbs up, and peace. I'm out of here.